Hi, everyone. We're just going to get started in a couple of minutes. Chris, you had a quick prompt for them, right?
Absolutely. So, hi there, everyone. Thanks for joining. And we're going to get started in about 3 minutes or so. Just let people who may be lagging behind a little bit join. In the meantime, I'm dialing in from San Francisco. We've got my colleague Eli on the line who is going to be assisting and is dialing in from Philadelphia. Please do let me know where you're dialing in from. Okay, you can just use the Zoom chat function for that, which you'll be able to do all through the webinar. Please do alternatively make use of the question function as well, and just send through a question at any point. So we're going to get started in about 2 more minutes.
Chris, so far we've seen a pretty even representation between East Coast and West Coast. I see a few people are calling in from San Francisco, a few people calling in from New York and from the East Coast. So thank you all for being here. This is really awesome that you want to get started with us. So we're going to get started in about a minute now. Chris will be your guide throughout the entire Learning Lab series. I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. I'm Eli. I will be on the line monitoring the chat in case you have any questions, and I'll be able to pitch them to Chris as they come up.
All right. Okay, I think we can get started now. So thank you everybody for joining and welcome. Okay, so what we intend to do today. So this is going to be a learning lab and we're going to use learning objectives. So today we want to talk about how to structure your knowledge base, specific to how your team is structured, how to organize your groups, such as identifying your experts, contributors, and end users. And lastly, to take an inventory of your knowledge base, reviewing the current state of the knowledge. Okay, so this is interactive. We want your participation here. So this isn't going to be your run-of-the-mill webinar. This is a learning lab. As a part of this participation, we really want you to be able to accomplish something in Guru today. So please do have your instance open. We've heard that some of you like to take notes, and you're totally welcome to do so today. But in case we move too quickly and you miss something, we'll be sending you the recording afterwards. Okay, so I'm Chris McAlpine. I'm a customer success manager, strategic clients for Guru. I've been here for about a year now. And have recently arrived in the USA, as you may note from my accent. So please do let me know if I am speaking a little too fast, as I have a tendency to. I'm sure my colleague Eli will step in as well, but just let me know in chat if I'm going too fast for you. Okay then. So there's going to be 3 sections to this learning lab. First, I'll cover a high-level concept about knowledge and knowledge bases first. Then we will talk about how this concept manifests itself in Guru. We'll go through what that looks like for one of our customers. Then I'll give you some time to try this out in Guru yourself. Okay. So, why are you here? Curious what brought you to signing up for this learning lab and what brought you to Guru, if you'd like to share. I'll just give you a little moment to write out in chat, and I'd appreciate any insight into this. Thank you.
So as Chris mentioned, our chat is open. If you click on the chat button, please let us know why you're here. What do you want to learn about Guru? What are you looking to get some help with on getting started? I see a couple of responses so far. I've seen that some people are here to learn about better knowledge management. I just created a Guru team and I'm not sure what to do first. That's great. This is where we will literally get started on today. I'm looking to move off my current knowledge base onto something easier. That's great to hear. That is exactly what we want you to be here for, is learning how to move your knowledge into Guru and how to structure that for success. So Chris will walk you through all of that today.
Yeah, okay, great questions. Okay then, so what's our mission statement? So we've worked with hundreds of customers who have realized this pain point and have put knowledge as a center point for their team's success. So our credo here at Guru is the knowledge you need to do your job should find you when and where you need it. It means you shouldn't have to go looking for information afterwards to get back to a client or a prospect, and you shouldn't need to do that much research beforehand. You should be able to just look for that knowledge in the instance and then find it and be able to respond. So, what is knowledge? We've learned from our customers on this, and it's the information necessary for you to complete your everyday tasks. You want to be confident in your jobs. And a great portion of your confidence comes from knowing how to do things or what to reference in case you need help. That information can look like a handful of different things, from answers to FAQs to steps in a process to assets and policies and more. Okay, so this, I want to introduce you to one of our customer advocates, Chad. So Chad is a senior sales enablement manager at Glint, and he's responsible for, well, what all sales managers do. So responsible for ensuring his sales team has all the info and training that they need to perform. He has to wrangle information from many different teams, and this is often sourced across many different places. So today we'll go through some of the steps that Chad had to take to get to the level of Guru success that they have today. And we'll make sure you take those same steps during this lab. So first, we're going to talk about how to structure your team's knowledge for success. Okay. After working with many teams of siloed knowledge sources, we found that these 3 elements are helpful to keep in mind when thinking about your knowledge base. So keeping everything located in one location will save your team time when it comes to searching for knowledge, where they're not going to spend their time on a wild goose chase for information that may well be out of date. There won't be shoulder tapping people and essentially taking up their time. And they won't be looking around to make sure that information is accurate. So if you're going to have one central location for knowledge, you need to make sure that it's organized. You find that the most success if you organize your knowledge by department or by topic, like we have here with sales and our CX collections. And if you're going to organize your knowledge by department, then you need to make sure your team has the right access to that knowledge. You don't want HR policies to clutter the search of your salespeople. You should segment that access in your knowledge base. So we'll go through more of this in the next Getting Started session. But as you can see on the screen, this is how knowledge is essentially structured in Guru. Now today we're going to focus on collections, the highest level of our knowledge hierarchy. So think of collections as maybe a concert or a festival. They're the location you would go to hear music, or in this case, consume knowledge. You want your collection to be specific to a type of knowledge for a department or a topic. You can be specific to what kind of concert or festival your collection is. you're going to. So another good way of thinking about collections is as a permission and access-based folder. You can configure who gets to see this collection and what abilities they have within that collection to either author knowledge or be read-only users. This is a great way for you to segment your team's knowledge by collection. In Guru, you can make a collection accessible to multiple groups within your team or only specific to a certain group, for instance, a finance collection. So, what is the one place your team goes daily for frequently asked questions? I'm going to set up a poll now, and I would greatly appreciate any answers. Feel free to, some of you might find some difficulty with this question. You might have more than one place in mind. So we've given you the ability to check more than one in the poll, just in case. All right, you should see it up now. All right, give it another 10 seconds for voting. Okay, thank you. I'm going to end the poll now. All right, there. So, Chad's predicament. So if you did check more than one place in the poll, you're a lot like our friend Chad in his pre-Guru life. Chad realized his sales team was spending a great deal of time during the day-to-day looking for information in more than one place. Marketing had their collateral on one location, support had their answers in a different source, and so on. What Guru allowed them to do was unify his team's knowledge across departments and create that one single source of truth. Okay, so our first time to dive into Guru and create something that will set you up for success. We're going to take 5 minutes to give you a chance to create a collection. So let's do this. I'm going to shift this over. And you should now see Eli, can you confirm to me whether or not the share has changed?
Yep, we can see you're in Guru right now.
Okay, great. So take you through it. To create a collection, go up to your profile picture. If you don't have a profile picture loaded in the top right, then it will be your initials. So going to here, we go to team settings and over to the collections area. So to create a collection, it's quite simple. Just pull this up. I think we're going to do a sales collection. Spellings. Okay, and then we're going to put through the collection on, and I'm going to say it'll be experts, and we'll have a look at that group or a new group in a moment. Okay, so that's all you have to do. It's very simple. Okay, I'm going to move us back. Now, I'm going to give you some time to go through that yourself. And just as a reminder, click on your profile picture or initials, go down to team settings, and then at the top where it says members, groups, collections, and admins, you want the collections tab. And just click create collection, add in the details, be sure to add in the owner, and then click save. All right then. Okay, so we just released it's essentially just a series of blank frameworks with it's a suggested basis for you to build out your own collections. So if you are starting a new trial, you'll see this pop up in your team if you're the first user. If you're already in trial, reach out to our support team using the chat with us button in the web app, and you'll speak to one of our agents live, who may be a CSM, they may be sales, they may be our dedicated support team. So I'm just going to show you that very quickly. Over here, and then chat with us. That'll pull up the widget here. And these are our support members. Okay, so, right, let's talk about organizing our groups. So now we're going to talk about that, how to organize groups for your knowledge base so you can get more out of your contributors, end users, and your eventual analytics. So the way in which you structure your groups should reflect how your team is structured. Name your groups after part of your organization. You can get as granular as you want here, by segment, by types of agent, by vertical. So think of which groups should be experts and which groups should be audiences. When you're creating your groups, make specific ones for those subject matter experts, i.e. managers, operations leaders, enablement, and one for your end users, reps, agents, the rest of your team. No matter what knowledge base you're using, access and permissions are important to keep top of mind for any member of your team. When you're organizing your groups, think about what info they'll need access to and what permissions to that knowledge they should have, i.e. the ability to edit or just to consume. So just as we think about the collection as the concert or a festival, think about the groups within a collection as either artists or the audience. Both of these groups get access to the concert, but some people are the performers, or those who create, edit, and verify knowledge. And some people are there to experience the performance or read and learn the knowledge. When you add a group to a collection, you're giving them access to the knowledge within that collection. What their access is depends on whether they are authors or read-only for that collection. Setting up your groups now will help with filtering your analytics in the future, so you can see what authors are adding new knowledge and what your end users are looking for. Okay, so we talked a bit about authors having clear ownership over knowledge. So I'm curious, when is the last time your team used not clearly owned information? And please answer the poll. I'm going to launch that. And here we go, the poll has been launched. Please do answer. Has the last instance in which you were aware your team used information that wasn't clear which was the SME or the owner for that information? Was it in the last week, the last month, the last quarter, the last year, or never? I'm going to leave that open for another 15 seconds. Okay then, about to close the poll. Okay. So, all right, we've talked a lot about, apologies. If you find this to be a frequent problem in the last week or something along those cadence, then you're a lot like Chad again. While he was wrangling up a lot of knowledge from different teams, he wasn't exactly sure who to ask if that information was up to date, nor was he sure what to change about that knowledge to make sure it was accurate and relevant. By setting up his groups like this in the image, he had clearly assigned owners, so sales, leadership, marketing, and management, who would be assigned to every piece of knowledge in the sales collection, while the sales reps, as read-only users, could find all the knowledge they needed to perform. All right then. We've talked a lot about groups. Now we're going to take some time to create a group in Guru and add that group to your collection. So this is a two-part process, so bear with me as we run through the instructions. Okay, so we're going to click on the avatar, we're going to click Users and Collections, click the Groups tab, click Create Group. Then we're going to go to the Collections tab and add the group to our new collection that we just made. We're going to give that group author permissions. All right. So here we are. We're going over to group. We're going to create a new group called Sales Asset Experts. Okay, so here we are with them now. I'm going to add myself to that. Simple as this. Oh, I spelled correctly. My own name. Okay, so we're adding that to the group. Now we're moving back to collections, and here we are in Sales Assets. So I'm going to add Sales Asset Managers to this. And we are going to change this now. So they're currently read-only. We're going to make them the author. That should be done pretty quickly. And there we are. Okay, so I'm going to take you through instructions again while you go through it. So in the web app, please click on your avatar. There'll be a picture of yourself or your initials. Then click Users and Collections if you aren't already in there. Click the Groups tab. Click Create Group. Then go over to the Collections tab, add your group to your new collections, and give that group author permissions. All right, just give you 5 more seconds to get through that. All right then. So finally, we're going to talk about taking inventory of your knowledge as it currently stands. So taking inventory is just another way we think about describing the current state of things. We want you to think about where your team is right now when it comes to knowledge, where your knowledge currently lives. Do you have access to that information? Do you need permission to get access to that knowledge source? Then what kind of information, what information currently lives in this source? Is it up to date? Is it missing anything? Who owns that knowledge? Should they update it? How often do they potentially need to update it if it's something tied to, for instance, a product release schedule? Or is it in fact not relevant anymore and should be archived? So the more you find the answers to those questions, the more it will help you in the long run with setting your team up for success by giving them access to the knowledge they need. And specifically within Guru, this is identifying your source of knowledge will help with migration should you choose to move your info into Guru, and Syncs, which helps you to unify your knowledge sources in one location. Identifying the people you need to contact about these knowledge sources will help you build a network of champions in the long run and encourage Guru adoption across your team. Collaboration just drives engagement. Okay, so keeping the network of champions in mind, let's identify one person who would be helpful to you in reviewing the current state of your knowledge, perhaps an SME, perhaps a manager, or end users who are living the pain points. So go ahead and give them a shout out in chat. Feel free to direct message the panelists or just in general chat. I'll give a few moments, perhaps 15 seconds for people to send through any information.
Hey, Chris, I've seen a couple of answers come in. I've seen some individuals say that their team manager and other counterparts on their team would be very helpful for reviewing the current state of their knowledge, particularly in this sales use case, having the sales enablement professionals look at the knowledge that's most important to the sales team. And I see one more answer here about other teams' content leaders. If you've been following the story of Chad, he recognized that there was a lot of content owned by other teams that was important to his sales team. So yes, getting the buy-in from other content leaders on other teams, whether that's customer success, product, maybe customer support as well, that will definitely be helpful in understanding what knowledge your team needs and how to review that. And it's very similar to Chad, right, Chris?
Absolutely. So if you've identified one or more people who would be in your network of champions, then yeah, you're just like Chad yet again. So when Chad was reviewing the current state of his team's knowledge, he realized that there are a lot of people and places to search for and keep in mind, and it felt like a very disjointed and time-consuming process to maintain. So with Guru, Chad was able to build a knowledge network of multiple teams and sources and ensure that everyone had the information they needed to do their job. All right then. So it's go time. We know that this might feel like a daunting task, absolutely. This is why we're giving you a starting point with this spreadsheet. So if you just go to this link here, and I'll give you a little bit of time to type that in. Okay, so please make a copy of this spreadsheet. And I'm going to pull it up now so we can all see. If I can move this across. Go. Okay, so start filling this out. Have it ready for next session. Help Center links are on the right-hand side. And this will give us a little bit of a basis to work from during the next learning labs, sales-focused learning labs. Okay, so for next time, we'll be starting our session next week. And I'll just pull this up. Thank you. We'll be starting our session next week with an opportunity for you to share some of the things you learned about the current state of your team's knowledge. By the end of this session, I hope you are able to structure your knowledge base using collections by topic or department. organizing your groups with subject matter experts as authors, consumers as end users, and then how to take an inventory of your knowledge's current state and where you'd like to be in the future. Now, in the next session on the 24th of September at 2 p.m. EST, we'll focus on making your knowledge look good, bringing that info into Guru effectively. And then for the third episode or third session, it's gonna be on the 1st of October, 2 p.m. EST again. And we're gonna focus on augmenting your workflows with knowledge and rolling Guru out effectively for your team. Okay, so just these resources again. They will help you along your entire Guru journey. The Help Center will help you with any setup or reference information you may need. If you need some extra help, just feel free to reach out and chat with us via the support email chat with us button. That again is clicking your profile picture or initials in the top right-hand corner and picking the chat with us button. If you want some consultative help, please do sign up for a consultation at this Calendly link here. We'll be sure to help. Okay, any thoughts? Please let us know at bit.ly/getgurustarted, no spaces. Okay, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, I'm going to remain on chat for another 5 or 10 minutes along with Eli. And if not, we look forward to seeing you at the next session.
All right. As always, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate your engagement here today, taking part in the polls and in the chat as well. As Chris mentioned, we'll stay on the line for any questions that you may have. We hope you get the opportunity to take this extra 30 minutes of your day to do some of the actions that we talked about today during this learning lab. That way you can set your knowledge base up to be structured for success, and it'll lay the groundwork for episodes 2 and 3 of this learning lab. So as Chris said, we'll stay on the line if you have any questions. And thanks again for being here.
Thank you. And thank you for all the interaction. It really does make these a little less staid and a little more fun to do.
Chris, I see a question in the chat here. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Is it better to have one collection for an entire team, or should I have a collection per department for my team?
I would say generally it's better to segment your knowledge into multiple collections. You can always do that later on for sure. And if you're using it just for one team, then perhaps it would be fine to use one collection. But I think using multiple collections assists you in scaling for growth. As your knowledge base grows with the information that's in there, having everything just in one collection, even with many boards, can make it a bit of a nightmare for your authors. But also it's good in terms of modifying the analytics, in terms of refining it and dialing it into what specific analytics are needed for what you're trying to look into.
Got it. So it sounds like a collection per department if I'm opening this up to more than just my sales team. Is that correct?
Absolutely. That is a far better way to go. And also collections are based around access and permissioning. So you as the finance department or as the HR department, it may well be that you don't want to share all of your information with the whole of the company, but you potentially do want to have information accessible to people, and that's available through various features. So collections isn't inhibiting. What it is a good way just to provide greater control over access to knowledge.
Awesome. I see another follow-up question here, kind of along the same lines of that first question. Is it better to have one group for everyone, or get granular about groups such as, one general sales group, or having sales experts and sales reps, maybe different reps per industry? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly when rolling out Guru, I would definitely recommend at a minimum 2 groups per collection. So you have one for end users, as you illustrated, and one for your content creators, verifiers, and the like. you can then further segment that as you grow, but it's always good to have those different permissioning. So between groups and authors and users, end users and authors.
Yeah, I would definitely second that. Having at least two groups, one focused on creating content and one focused on consuming the content in Guru. That's definitely the way to structure your team. Chris, one final question here in the chat. How are groups taken into account for analytics? How does creating groups now help with understanding activity in Guru later on?
I was just about to add that to the answer to the last question, but yeah, absolutely. Seeing the analytics on the basis of end users, it's good to have groups like that so that you can dial it in specifically depending on what their interaction is with your knowledge base. If they're creating content, then having analytics looking specifically at that, how many cars have they edited and updated, how many cars they're responsible for verifying. Your end users are not going to have that same responsibilities. And so having them segmented off will mean you can pull more relevant analytics faster.
Awesome. Okay. Chris, thank you for answering those questions. It looks like our chat has run out of questions, but again, thank you all for being here. And if you have more questions, feel free to contact us through support@GetGuru or through the chat with us button that Chris mentioned a couple of times. And we look forward to seeing you at episode 2 on the 24th, 25th, 24th. It's a week from today. Cool. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you, Chris.
Cheers, everyone.
All right. Have a good one.